Donald Trump's nominees continue making their case on Capitol Hill today, with both Kristi Noem and Pete Hegseth set to meet with lawmakers. Madeline Rivera has more from Washington. Hey, Maddie.
Hi, good morning, Carly. Several of President-elect Trump's nominees are expected to face uphill battles in the Senate, but after meeting with lawmakers, some GOP members are suggesting they're coming around, if not outright supporting Trump's tougher picks. Texas Senator John Cornyn says he's inclined to support Trump's choice to lead the FBI, Kash Patel. He says he's not sure what current FBI Director Christopher Wray's plans are, but he expects Patel to be confirmed. Defense Secretary nominee Pete Hegseth also appears to have made some progress with another key senator, Joni Ernst from Iowa.
Senator, how did your meeting with Pete Hegseth go today?
It was very positive, and I appreciate that he respects the process. So, yes, it was very good.
Are you inclined to support him right now?
I read her lips. She said, I'm supporting him through this process.
It was a great meeting. People don't really know this. I've known Senator Ernst for over 10 years. I knew her when she was a state senator running to be the first female combat veteran, and we supported her in that effort and have continued to, because you get into these meetings and you get to listen to senators. It's an amazing advise and consent process.
Director of National Intelligence nominee Tulsi Gabbard was on Capitol Hill as well. She ignored questions from reporters about her trip to Syria in 2017, where she met with the country's recently ousted leader Bashar al-Assad. Gabbard, though, did issue this statement about Syria.
I want to address the issue that's in the headlines right now. I stand in full support and wholeheartedly agree with the statements that President Trump has made over these last few days with regards to the developments in Syria.
Looking over to next week, Health and Human Services nominee Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is expected to head to Capitol Hill for meetings with senators as he tries to win over.
It's so good. I love it. Oh, tweet it. Tweet the meme. I want the meme. That's great. It's got to be Mad Max, right? It's like, this is a game we play every single one. It's got to be Mad Max, like the new Mad Max Furiosa Road. Okay, all right. I love it. And man, that works well with Alina Habba. That's a very, very practical weapon. It's a spear, then it's ball bearings. It's beautiful, ladies and gentlemen. We are balling today, Tuesday, December 10th, 2024. Joni Ernst has broken! Joni Ernst is out of here! She's supporting Pete Hegseth because you and me and we were able to change the course of American history through the power that this program has through you, us, together. Ladies and gentlemen, Luigi Mangione, the suspect in the United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson's killing, charged with murder in New York City. Meanwhile, a man who is also charged with murder, Daniel Penny, was acquitted on all charges. There's it's very simple. It's very simple. Good guy, Daniel Penny. Bad guy, Luigi Mangione. Okay? That's how this works. I don't, like, your morality is skewed if you don't see it that way. Alina Habba, the brand new counselor to the president, joins the program live, along with Congressman Eli Crane, who wants to create a Congressional Medal of Honor and statue, I think, for Daniel Penny. Daniel Penny should have his own subway station. Should have his own subway station named after him in New York, okay? That's what we're going to be advocating for. They're going to be joining live on the show right off the top of the show, okay? So let's get started. My name is Benny Johnson, and this is The Benny Show. It is the holiday season, ladies and gentlemen. Time for some great stocking stuffers. Time to upgrade to the best-selling, longest-lasting deodorant out there, Masculine Man deodorant, who's proudly made in the United States by hardworking, patriotic men who demand nothing but the best. And it's my new favorite. Masculine Man isn't just a deodorant. It's your new signature scent, bold, high-end fragrances, luxury. You can hit the gym or relax all day long or crush it at work like we do. Masculine Man keeps you smelling incredible and unstoppable. It's the best-smelling deodorant out there. It leaves no white marks, no yellow stains, long-lasting protection, and it's 100% made in the USA with aluminum-free ingredients. 30-day money-back guarantee. Try it risk-free. You can find them at Masculine Man on Amazon or head over to MasculineManEssentials.com. Use Benny15 at checkout. 15% off your first order. MasculineManEssentials.com. Benny15. Masculine Man, be awesome, don't stink. Ha-ha! All right, ladies and gentlemen, we feel awesome this morning. We feel great this morning. How do you feel this morning? We have a poll, by the way, pinned to the top of the channel. We are always going to do polls on this program. This is how you're going to have a direct access point to us about what we cover, how we cover it. You keep telling us you want us to ask a question about Epstein. Okay, here we go. Who's your favorite Trump pick? Got Kash Patel up there at 69%. Ooh, baby. Hot. Kash coming in hot. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Kash is coming in hot. Yesterday, Joni Ernst posted a photo of her and Kash Patel. Amazing, the turnabout from Joni here. Yeah, we got this fascinating thing that has happened where we actually just did this incredible bit of research where we went into things that Joni Ernst has said while cameras were pointed in her face. And we showed you those things, and that was enough to cause the entire internet to say, we got to primary Joni. Like, this lady's insane, actually. This lady's insane. She's dangerous, in fact. This tweet went thermonuclear. Here's how you do it, ladies and gentlemen. And we listened to you. We read the chat. And boy, you were really upset at people like Joni Ernst, who comes from a state that Donald Trump won by 15 points. He won Iowa by 12 points in 2020 and won Iowa by 10 points in 2016. So she comes from a Trump double-digit state. Who the F does she think she is? Who does she think she is? Here we go. This is a good client. Who does she think she is? Exactly. She thinks she's smarter than Trump? She thinks she's better than Trump? The only reason Joni Ernst can say she's in the majority is Donald Trump. Never seen anybody atomize their career faster than Joni Ernst. She's actually more unpopular than Mitch McConnell right now with the Republican base. Am I wrong? No, I'm not wrong. She actually believes that she's wiser and more powerful than Donald Trump. What a catastrophic career-ending miscalculation. That thing nuked. And we followed that up with a very fascinating clip of Joni Ernst talking about what her vision is for the military, okay? So she doesn't like Pete Hegseth because he represents toxic masculinity. Pete Hegseth represents warfighters. You ever met a warfighter? We're going to have one join us in just a second, Eli Crane. And this is what Joni Ernst has to say about her vision of the military.
The example of transgender people serving in our military. We have transgender people serving in our military. They will bleed red just as the rest of us. But I also take a stance that we should not be integrating transgender people into certain situations where it does make, if you have a female barracks and you have a transgender woman who has not transitioned, we shouldn't make the rest of the unit uncomfortable about that setting. There are certain accommodations we can make for that transgender individual. But if they bring value to our unit, if they have specialties that we can use, especially if we want to maintain an all-volunteer force, we want to bring that talent into our services.
Enough.
And I know that's controversial.
Enough. This was what Joni Ernst, whilst voting for DEI Darth Vader, while voting for a guy that started multiple unwinnable wars in this country, while voting for a guy who, I'm talking about Lloyd Austin, Joe Biden's fraudulent defense contractor, guy who wanted to study white rage in the military, guy who lost trillions of dollars, can't pass a budget inspection, can't pass an audit. The guy who who has embroiled America once again in more wars. The guy who oversaw the Afghanistan withdrawal and pullout. What Joni Ernst decided was the most important subject at the time, and what was so important to go on Margaret Hoover's freaking PBS show to talk about is transgender talent in the military. That's what Joni Ernst is the most concerned about. Yeah, I think there's bigger fish to fry, as they would say in the South. Okay? Joni Ernst is somebody who, again, voted for, this is why we call him DEI Darth Vader, because he looks like, this is Darth Vader. I've gone to Comic-Con. This kind of looks like a Darth Vader cosplay. It does. I'm sorry. Cancel me. It does. ALX is smirking. I can see ALX smirking. He knows. ALX knows. No one's faster with a Palpatine quote than ALX. I gotta tell you. ALX probably has one. ALX has been rooting for Palpatine in the Star Wars saga for a very long time. Okay. Nonetheless. Okay. Speaking of people that we used to root for, here's Joni. Final thing I'll say on Joni Ernst. Come up with this ad, and I know this because I'm an Iowan, and I remember this ad because this ad played on my TV day and night. This is when Joni Ernst was first running. I don't know if we have the ad or not as a play-beside, but this is Joni Ernst. You don't need to see it. It's just her saying, it's a pretty famous ad. It's her saying, I'm going to go to D.C. to make them squeal, right? I'm going to castrate them like I castrate hogs at my hog farm in Iowa. The interesting thing is that Joni Ernst is the one who became the war pig, right, after all of this. She lied. She lied to her constituents and to her voters. She hasn't cut any spending. She hasn't cut anything, in fact. She's only cut deals with defense contractors and with the woke people destroying our military. And so we brought these things up. Man, how many views did this get? Holy smokes. 34,000 likes, 12,000 reposts. Some of these went pretty nuclear, man. Anyway, it turns out we won. Lo and behold, here's Joni Ernst's statement after putting our shoulder to the wheel a little bit. Talk about the power of this show. Talk about the power of this program, and you and me and us together. Joni's statement. Well, would you look at this? I appreciate Pete Hegseth's response. A reminder, Joni's last statement was, Pete Hegseth and I had a very frank conversation. The end. Jeez, freaking Mean Girls, right? Regina George was her last statement. It was literally written by Tina Fey. And now here, well, it's a different tune, aren't we? Whistling Dixie here. Let's have a read here. Following an encouraging conversation, Pete committed to completing a full audit of the Pentagon and selecting senior officials who uphold the roles and values of our service members and women based on the quality and standards and the quotas. Not quotas. Based on quality and standards, not quotas. You're the one. Hold on. We just played a clip of you saying there need to be entire transgender units in the military. We have a clip. You're on camera saying it. Okay. Like it's the rule on the show is you don't have to say everything. You don't have to come out and say. You don't have to post every video. You don't have to do it, right? If Kamala's blackout drunk in Hawaii, and she like punches the red button on her camera. Like slurs through her bottle of Xanax into the camera about finding your power. It's like you don't have to post it, okay? You can just tell her that you did. She won't know any different. She's like 7 boxes of wine deep. Stop saying bottles. These are boxes of wine. This Franzia. This is like the Chardonnay Franzia. This 2 for 1 at Walmart. BOGO. It's great. This is what you do. She won't know. But lo and behold, you don't have to post it all, okay? Joni Ernst went and posted it. Joni Ernst went and freaking posted it, all right? So I got to tell you, it's kind of funny that she's suddenly changing her tune, saying she wants a military based on standards and quality, not quotas. Well, you're the one calling for quotas, lady. Jeez. Who will prioritize and strengthen work against sexual assault in the ranks as I support Pete Hegseth in this process. Hold up. Record scratch. Say what now? I support Pete Hegseth in this process. Well, would you look at that? We got Joni Ernst to endorse freaking Pete Hegseth. Boom. Shakalaka. Can we get some applause, Klein? Can we just get a little applause? Well, what do you know, ladies and gentlemen? We got, or maybe we can do the Trump wins. We haven't done a Trump wins in a while. We still have that? Okay. Woo, we got it. Go. Well, nobody has more fun than we do on the internet. Okay, well, we did it. Would you look at that? Would you look at that? We win, ladies and gentlemen. Very, very interesting. Okay. Pete on Joni Ernst. Pete Hegseth was on TV last night talking about his relationship with Joni Ernst. This is handling it like a man. Let's go.
For heaven. Let's talk about the meeting with Joni Ernst today.
Absolutely. Sean, it was a great meeting. People don't really know this. I've known Senator Ernst for over 10 years. I knew her when she was a state senator running to be the first female combat veteran, and we supported her in that effort and have continued to because you get into these meetings and you get to listen to senators. It's an amazing advise and consent process, and you hear how thoughtful, serious, substantive they are on these key issues as they pertain to our Defense Department. And Joni Ernst is front and center on that. So able to have phone calls and meetings time and time again to talk over the issues is really, really important. And the fact that she's willing to support me through this process means a lot. And I also want an opportunity here to clarify comments that have been misconstrued that I somehow don't support women in the military. Some of our greatest warriors, our best warriors out there are women who serve, raise their right hand to defend this country and love our nation, want to defend that flag, and they do it every single day around the globe. So I'm not presuming anything, but after President Trump asked me to be his Secretary of Defense, should I get the opportunity to do that, I look forward to being a secretary for all our warriors, men and women, for the amazing contributions they make in our military.
Well, I got to tell you, that's handling it like a total freaking gentleman. Now, of course, you'd assume that Pete Hegseth would be a total gentleman, considering the enormous and honorable pedigree that he has in the United States military. A couple Bronze Stars. Don't ask the Washington Post about that. They say that Bronze Stars are really nothing to be proud of. There's somebody who I would love to get his take on that. This is Navy SEAL. I believe the only Navy SEAL that's currently actively serving in Congress right now is the great Eli Crane from the state of Arizona, joining us live now. Congressman, how you doing, man? It's great to see you again. I miss our days in Butler, doing the work that I guess the FBI should have been doing. But nonetheless, it seems like we've won, and maybe Kash Patel will finally tell us something about Thomas Crooks.
Hey, thanks for having me on, Benny. It's an honor to be on your show.
Yeah, so I did want to start here with Pete Hegseth. It seems like there has been massive breakthroughs. This was a nomination that was on the rocks. I know you're going to care very, very deeply about this nomination, and you do support Pete Hegseth. The Navy SEAL community is making quite a few rumblings saying that they're going to maybe do a march in Washington, D.C. in support of Pete Hegseth. Do you have any information on that? Will you be part of that?
It's definitely possible. I'm not sure that we have an exact time or date yet, but I'm definitely willing to be a part of it. But more importantly, I definitely support Pete Hegseth. And for the, you look at his qualifications, he's absolutely qualified. There's a lot of criticism about Pete. Listen, here's the deal, Benny. We're not looking for a choir boy to do this job. We're looking for somebody who understands what the problem is with our Department of Defense and who has repeatedly said he has the courage and the ability, and he understands what those issues are. And Pete has made no bones about it. He is actually laser focused on ridding the Department of Defense of DEI and wokeness. And that's something that absolutely needs to happen. And so I love to see, victories like Joni Ernst coming around and saying she'll support Pete in this endeavor, because I served in the military for a long time. I still have a lot of buddies that are running around all over places, all around the world, in very dangerous situations. And the focus has to be lethality, and when I hear, when I saw that clip that you were showing about Joni talking about, transgenders in the service, when I got into the military, Benny, they wouldn't even let you in if you had flat feet or you had asthma or you had any number of things that could, be a distraction or make you less effective, as a warfighter or as a service member. So this is the problem with our military, that it's become about inclusiveness and trying to give everybody the opportunity to be there, instead of, hey, if you're not going to be able to deploy, if you're not going to be, if you're not going to be fully functioning and a part of the team, then we got sorry, but this isn't the place for that. And so I'm glad that Pete is moving forward in this process. And I think one last thing I want to say, Benny, is that one of the things I love about some of the nominations that President Trump has made, like Pete Hegseth and like Tulsi Gabbard, is these are people that, the establishment has gone after, and they've been on the wrong end of, some of the overhandedness of, these departments. Like Pete was told that he couldn't, go serve in Washington, D.C. with his unit because he had a tattoo on his chest that the military, there was a cross that the military was saying, was some like white supremacy symbol. people that have been affected by this, they understand how, woke the military has got, how off mission they've gone. And that's why another reason I love this pick, because it's not pie in the sky for him. He's been personally affected by it. And so I have a lot of faith that Pete will do everything in his power to focus the military back on lethality.
Yeah. I mean, you wonder why there's a recruitment crisis in the American military, but the American military has been trained on white rage and anti-white bigotry and then anti-Christian bigotry. And guess where the majority of your warfighting recruits are going to come from? Like small Christian communities across this country that is predominantly white. You morons, right? You wonder why. You have Mark Milley up there having an aneurysm talking about, I want to understand white rage. Like, what did you think when you saw that, Congressman?
I was disgusted by it, honestly. And I saw a little bit of it in my time in the military, just us getting away from what we were supposed to be focused on, but it's gone so far south since I got out. And I know many of my friends and colleagues and former team members just can't believe, the things that they're having to do, the trainings that they're having to go through, how they're being, forced to look the other way, when things like this happen. And, so I thought it was disgusting, but that's why I love seeing guys like Pete who are laser focused and who have been very outspoken about these problems, when a lot of these high ranking generals and admirals, I've had conversations with them up here on the Hill, Benny, they look the other way. They deny that it even exists, and they'll tell you straight up, well, I think diversity is our strength. That's what they'll say when you corner them on it. And it's just like they're drinking the Kool-Aid like everybody else. They don't have the courage to actually recognize that it's an issue and that we've gotten away from our focus. And so that's another reason that I love Pete for this job.
I don't get it. Like, because if you had the commissioner of the NBA at the, up on Capitol Hill, would he say diversity is our strength? Like, no, he wouldn't. He'd say being tall and being extremely good at basketball in getting the ball into the hoop is our strength.
Well, that's the thing, Benny, in the world, as everybody here that listens to your show can recognize, the world hasn't got any less dangerous. These adversaries that we're dealing with, right now, they don't focus on any of this stuff. They could care less about diversity, equity, inclusion. They are focused on lethality and lethality only. And that's going to mean that if we keep going in this direction, we're going to get our tails whipped, and a lot of Americans, some of our finest, are going to die. That's what it's going to lead to.
Yeah. I mean, I personally believe that it is career ending to have voted for Lloyd Austin and not for Pete Hegseth. And the knock against Pete Hegseth is that, as you stated, he's not a choir boy. Well, okay, listen, man, I got warfighters in my family. I have close personal friends, allies, and brothers who came back from those fields of battle. Of course, you're going to be a little messed up when you go door to door, clearing out houses of terrorists, and you think that you're going to die and bleed out in the middle of a desert 5,000 miles away from your home. Of course, there's going to be some reacclimation that happens. You're going to be mentally shook, if not physically shook. And so it does seem, like what's interesting to me, and maybe you can expound on this because you have the first person perspective. It seems bigoted. It seems biased against actual war fighters to say, oh, wow, Pete Hegseth came back from war struggling with some demons, because everyone does actually when you go into war zones. And it seems like almost like they're biasing in favor of armchair generals, fat armchair generals who never did any war fighting, and using that as a cudgel against men and women who actually went into battle, right? That seems like what this is, right? They're biasing against him.
Yeah, what seems even more hypocritical is when you look at, many of the personal lives of many of the politicians up here in Washington, D.C., when you want to talk about, womanizing or, drinking too much. I mean, that's par for the course around here. So, it's just kind of hypocritical. And it's to me, it's like, the American people gave President Trump a mandate when they overwhelmingly voted for him. President Trump isn't a choir boy either, but the American people recognize something in him. they know that he's going to fight for him. They've seen him do it before. And so they're not asking President Trump to lead their Bible study. They're asking President Trump, hey, we need you to turn this country around. We believe you're the strongest person to do that job. We've seen you do it before. We know what our life experience was like when he was in office, and we saw what it was like when you left. We want that back, please. And so, I just think it's so hypocritical when I hear politicians talk about, Pete Hegseth, and his personal life.
Yeah, I mean, you share a chamber with Nancy Pelosi, and she's going to sit there and declare that she's dead sober all the I'm sorry, I don't think so. I've seen too many dash cam videos of Nancy Pelosi's husband slurring and stumbling around to buy that. But yeah, that's quite a critique to make from Congress, that there's too many that somebody is a lush or drinks too much, or might have ups and downs in their relationships. It's a pretty remarkable stone to throw if you're in a glass house. So speaking of all, absolute victories and the restoration of masculinity in society, Daniel Penny acquitted on all charges yesterday. Happened like swiftly, and you came out saying that Daniel Penny deserves the Congressional Medal of Honor. Can you expound on that? That made quite a bit of news. You did this before he was acquitted, when it wasn't really popular to do so. Can you talk us through this, Congressman?
Yeah, well, first I want to thank some of the folks on my staff. This actually, they brought this to me and said, "What do you think of this, sir?" And I said, "I love the idea," because to your point, Benny, the precedent that we're setting is, hey, if you see something, going on and it's violent and it's scary, hey, if you're an able-bodied individual and you can do something about it, look the other way, because if you don't, you might go to jail for the rest of your life. And Daniel Penny did something that very few would have done. He actually put himself, in harm's way, and he rescued and he saved a bunch of innocent civilians on that train from, a drugged up lunatic with a rap sheet a mile long. And it's like, Benny, you know the deal. Daniel Penny didn't get on that train that day hoping that, he would have to put somebody in a chokehold to restrain him who was having a wild outburst saying he was going to kill somebody on the train. He was just going about his daily business, but he stepped up, he did the right thing. And so we wanted to honor him. That's what we wanted to do. And we also wanted to, change the narrative a bit from, hey, is this guy going to get convicted or not, to, hey, this guy's actually a hero. He is a hero. And that's why we put him up for this medal. And I'm hoping that many of my colleagues will support him, so that Daniel Penny and others know that, hey, we still live in a country where if you see innocent people that are in danger from, a threat, you can still step up, do the right thing, and help them without going to jail for the rest of your life.
Congressman, in the aftermath of this ruling, immediately Daniel Penny's life was threatened, according to reports inside of the courtroom. BLM members went up and began effectively threatening his life, and then out on the courtroom steps, BLM leaders were saying, "Well, it's time for us to be vigilantes and go kill people effectively. Like we need to go out and we need to take blood for this." I mean that seems like a direct threat. Would you be in favor of potential charges against the people who are like now threatening Daniel Penny's life? And just like, I mean, it clearly can't be allowed, right? The guy went through this horrible process, and now they're just going to take matters into their own hands? No. Yeah,
absolutely. If they broke the law, then absolutely I'm in favor, of them facing charges for breaking the law. But like I said, it's a good day here in this country that Daniel Penny got off, and I love the signal that it sends to other Americans out there who still have a heart to do the right thing, want to do the right thing, and they know that there's still a chance that if you find yourself in a situation like that, you can protect innocent civilians and not go to jail for the rest of your life.
Yes. Just very briefly here, since you and I did go to Butler together, and since you've been the tip of the spear when it comes to investigating what happened with Donald Trump and the assassination, will we ever find out anything about Matthew Crooks? And we have this United Healthcare CEO assassin Luigi Mangione, and we know so much about him. We have so much information, Congressman. We know everything from his medical record to where he went to school to every speech he ever gave. We knew that in minutes after they caught this guy, and we know nothing about a man who nearly caused a civil war and the end of Western civilization. Thomas Matthew Crooks, the would-be assassin of President Trump. Can you give us an update on that?
Yeah, well, I think we have a much better chance under this administration of finding out more about Matthew Crooks, especially with some of the nominations that President Trump has made. You know, people that are interested in transparency for the American people. And, I did have, some conversations with Clay Higgins, who was on the task force. Myself and Corey Mills, as you know, weren't selected for that task force, but he told me and Corey that he's going to continue with the investigations in this next Congress. So the investigations aren't over up here, but I do think a large part of it is going to have to do with, who gets put in charge of the FBI, who gets put in charge of many of these agencies. And so that's why it's so important that we get President Trump's picks over the finish line.
Yeah, I assume that you're a full-throated endorser of Kash Patel at the FBI.
Absolutely. I love what Kash has said. I love his resume. I love that he's one of the only truth tellers up here, and he's actually gone after individuals in the Justice Department before. And so I think the fact that the swamp is crying hysterically about his nomination tells you everything that you need to know. We must be over target with Kash.
What's the first D-class? Final question. What's the first declassification you want from Kash Patel, director of the FBI?
The first thing I'd love to know from Kash Patel is what's the deal with the January 6th pipe bomber?
Yes.
Yep. Why haven't we caught that guy yet? Who was he working for? Was he working for our federal government in some way, shape, or form? Because that one still does not pass muster for me. I've said it time and time again. I don't believe that the FBI could not have caught the one individual that could have created multiple mass casualty events on that day, but they were able to arrest over 1,000, men, women, and children who, went into the Capitol. So that's what I'd like to see from Kash.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, they have his shoes, right? They have paraphernalia from him. They have the bombs themselves, and they have him on video, and they have him on camera, and allegedly that footage has been manipulated with, and you have to answer, why exactly? This is the key figure in what happened on January 6th, and we know nothing about him. And do you believe that he was working with the government?
I wouldn't be surprised. One bit. I know that the feds had agents, embedded within the crowds on January 6th. I know Darren Beatty from Revolver has called it the Fedsurrection. When I look at how long it took for Ray Epps to get charged at all, when he was instigating, he was one of the chief instigators. That they were trying to protect some of their guys inside. And it just doesn't make any sense to me, Benny, that the one guy that could have created multiple mass casualty events, the one guy that planted multiple pipe bombs at key locations, was not able to be caught by the premier law enforcement agency on planet Earth.
And Kamala Harris has never mentioned it. It was Kamala Harris who had her security. It's just Kamala Harris was right there. She walked right by the pipe bomb. We have the video.
And the bomb dog missed it as well. So that story is just so fishy to me. And when you look at the fact that, Pelosi, tried to stall reinforcements from getting to the Capitol. She denied President Trump's request to have National Guard support and help secure the Capitol that day. It seems to me that they almost wanted that thing to get out of hand and to look as violent as absolutely possible, so that they could label Trump as an insurrectionist and everybody in this Make America Great Again movement as some, radical, outlandish citizens, and that's why that story to me is so important, that we get to the bottom of that one. And that's, as you know, Benny, that's just one of many.
Yes, that's right. But it's kind of the linchpin, right? So if that guy was working for the feds and the entire thing was a Fed op, the mask is off then. All right. And if that guy's been protected by the feds, then we know exactly what the entire thing was completely rigged. I think most Americans assume that already, but that would come as such a shock. I'm like preparing the audience. I'm sorry, not trying to keep you, Congressman, but I'm preparing for the audience. Like, do you realize how much power it'll be when there's a Department of Justice seal on the podium? And when someone like Kash or Pam Bondi step to the podium and say, no, this guy was working for the Biden regime. He was actually working for the federal government. Or not Biden wasn't even in charge at that point. Like, he was working for the federal government, planting pipe bombs. Like the world will change forever. Like when they make that announcement, it will be wild. We're in for a time of incredible transparency and a lot of people having the psyops broken in their brains. It's going to be biblical.
Yeah. Well, I don't know that it's any more crazy than what our federal government did, with the southern border over the last 4 years, and letting in, known gang members, opening up the floodgates so wide that, terrorists could get into the country. And I mean, seeing all the crime that we see each and every day. And so we've got a lot of work to do, Benny, but I am glad that the American people, stuck up, showed up, went to the polls, and, overwhelmingly reelected President Trump. And now it's time to get his cabinet picks in, and we got a lot of work to do. So thanks, Benny, for all you do, and thank you to your audience, man, for helping in all of these efforts.
We're winning. I join with you, Congressman, and here, please follow the Congressman. I join with you, Congressman. I do. That's the one J6er I'll get on board with. Tell me where they are. I'll help you round them up. The one J6er I'll happily help bring to the feds is the pipe bomber. How about that? Like we join with you, Biden regime. Let's catch the one guy we can all agree on. Let's bring in the pipe bomber and find out exactly who is he and what did he know and who exactly was he texting when he had that phone. And, that's the only phone, of course, we don't have any information on. It's going to be an exciting time. Go follow the great Congressman Eli Crane, the only Navy SEAL serving in Congress and a true fighter.
There's like 5 of us up here, but yeah.
Oh well, then the tallest Navy SEAL serving in Congress.
Maybe. But thank you, Benny. I appreciate you, brother.
All right, thanks, Congressman. Man, I gotta tell you, that's an exciting time. I wasn't expecting. I love it when I get answers I don't expect. And I guess I should, you just never know because you don't know what people's pet issues are going to be. And so when you hear the pipe bomber, that's my love language, actually. That's what I was like, oh, yes, please. Thank you. And more. Can I please have some more? Let's talk about that. We could do the next 3 hours, actually, on the pipe bomber. But we don't have that amount of time because Alina Habba is joining the program very, very soon. Soon to be counselor to the president, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to be looking at setting the world right. Setting the world right is something that I hope that you do with your financial health this holiday season. Who doesn't need a little extra scratch in their bank accounts near Christmas? You're certainly not alone. If you're one of them, prices remain high and higher than ever. People have maxed out their credit cards during the catastrophe of Joe Biden's administration. If you're a homeowner, American Financing can help you unlock the equity in your home and start saving. If you act now, you could delay 2 mortgage payments. You can make sure that you are set up for the holidays and their customers are saving $800 a month on average. Go to American Financing right now or call 888-528-1219. That's 888-528-1219, AmericanFinancing.net/Benny, 1823 34, NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are rocking and rolling and winning. It's incredible. We're actually winning. Check this out. Pete Hegseth yesterday talking about meeting with Murkowski and Collins. Pete Hegseth, it sounds like, is looking to make sure that he's confirmed by every Republican and maybe some Democrats. Let's see. There were like 46 Republican senators who voted for Lloyd Austin as defense secretary. So how many Democrats are going to vote for Pete Hegseth? It'll be very interesting. You'll be able to really see what the bitter partisan lines, where they truly are drawn. But at the very least, this should be a rubber stamp from Republican senators. Duh. It's Donald Trump. It is like obvious. He's the Republican, the most popular Republican in my lifetime or yours. And he deserves to have every Republican on board. So now Hegseth going after the squishiest of all senators, Murkowski and Collins. These two, along with McConnell, that's like the witch's kitchen of anti-Trump, visceral, seething hatred. Let's go get them, boys.
Are more liberal senators like Lisa Murkowski. I don't know Lisa Murkowski. I do know Susan Collins, and I actually got a lot of time to spend with her. And she was beyond reasonable, but she is the only Republican from New England. Have you had a chance to speak with them up to this point?
We will be meeting with Senator Collins on Wednesday and Senator Murkowski on Tuesday. And let me tell you, Sean, the founders got this right. This is not a trivial process. This is a real thing. Advise and consent of a nominee who the president has chosen. And I'm so grateful that President Trump would have the faith in me to lead the Defense Department or to choose me to do that. But this advise and consent process, meeting with all the members of the Senate Armed Services Committee, and they all have great questions, and my answers are for them, Sean. The left is trying to turn this into a trial in the media, a show trial, and we're not going to let that happen. I'm going to walk into the door of every one of these senators with just as an open book, willing to answer their questions because they deserve answers. And that will be, I've heard great things about all of these senators and the questions they want to ask. And we look forward to earning these votes. That's what it's about. Ultimately, earning the votes through the committee and through the entire U.S. Senate. And hopefully I'll have the honor of being able to stand up for our warfighters. That's what this is all about. It's all about the men and women who put the uniform on for us. They want someone who's kicked down doors, had their back in the past in that top spot.
All you need is 50. All you need is 50. And you can do J.D. Vance voting as vice president as a tiebreaker, right? So J.D. Vance can be your 51st vote. So if you have like a Joni Ernst, then you technically could have Murkowski and Collins and Mitch McConnell all say no. And it doesn't freaking matter. Then go back into their little turtle shells, right? Tamp sand. So good and F off, and who put you in charge, and the advise and consent is not sabotage and destroy President Trump's administration before they even get started. But they don't have enough votes, I think, to do that. And anybody who votes against President Trump's nominees is a red line. Alina Habba, who's a new nominee for President Trump, will be joining us soon, ladies and gentlemen. We're also very excited that Harmeet Dillon was selected as the civil rights Department of Justice civil rights assistant attorney general. Oh man, that is such an evil organization under Kristen Clark. It's actually that's the organ inside of the Department of Justice that went after grannies that were praying outside of abortion clinics, that sued red states to keep illegal criminal aliens on the ballot. Now we have President Trump's lawyer, somebody who's like the best fighter for election integrity and for free speech and for anti-DEI policies across the country. Harmeet Dillon is going to go in there and rock that place. It's going to be awesome. And all the demons are screaming at the same time, and it's music to my ears. Brett Baer saying there is light at the end of the tunnel for all Trump nominees. Trump nominees are roaring through the Senate. It seems like the tables have truly turned, and we're going to keep the pressure on. Of course, we're going to have to wait until January 2025 in order to get these hearings, right? They're going to do these hearings because Donald Trump has to be sworn in, and then we need their staff he need Trump's staff as soon as possible. Without Trump's staff, without these people, without these nominees, who ends up running these bureaucracies? Well, the permanent state. The political appointees from Joe Biden keep running the Pentagon, keep running HUD, keep running HHS, keep running the Department of Labor. So every Republican that obstructs Donald Trump is voting to keep Joe Biden in office in ghost mode. So we need these approvals and we need these votes today, as soon as Trump is sworn in. Here we go. Pete Hegseth, light at the end of the tunnel.
If you think about Senate nomination as a war, Pete is like winning the battles, like the skirmishes, like every day just chipping away at it, Brett.
Yeah, 100%. Good morning. I think that there is this growing optimism with the president-elect and his team that they are making progress and that Pete Hegseth is starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel, that maybe there will be fewer than 3 senators who vote against him. That's not to say there's not going to be tough questions and hearings, that there could be stumbles, there could be other things. It's not complete optimism, like sure thing, but there is a growing optimism, not only on Pete, but Kash Patel, it seems like he has support for FBI director.
Yeah, baby. Here's John Cornyn, somebody who is not known for his rock-ribbed conservatism, who has F grades for freedom scores, somebody who is, regularly falls for the traps that the corporate left lay for him, saying no, Kash Patel will be confirmed as the next FBI director. This is a ringing endorsement. Here we go.
Had a good meeting with Kash Patel, the president's nominee for FBI director. We still don't know what Director Wray's plans are, but eventually I assume that Mr. Patel will be confirmed as the next FBI director.
Oh, yeah, baby. Kash Patel is posting. Can you go to Kash's timeline, please, Killer Klein? Kash is posting all these photos with all these various senators. We had live on the show breaking yesterday the senators Joni Ernst, there's Mike Lee. Kash Patel is rolling through Capitol Hill right now and is rocking it. Freaking Mike Lee. What does he say? Mike Lee says, although it spends too much, our government is not short of cash, but it is desperate for cash. We must and will confirm Kash Patel as our next FBI director. Boom, shakalaka. Back to the timeline. Back to the timeline. Oh, there's Mike Lee meeting. No. Back to Kash's timeline, please. Yeah. Go. Click the back arrow. Go, Klein. Good old internet. Good old internet. Hold on, I want the senators. How many senators you meet with yesterday? Keep going down. Killer Klein. Internet. We work on it. Learn how it works. Here we go. All right. Here we go. Mary Caputo. Good. That's Wyoming senator. She's great. There's Grassley. That's a big one. Look at how happy they are to meet. Look at that. Look at Kash. They're so happy there. Look at them. Grassley is, of course, the king of oversight and judiciary, and so he's been a thorn in the FBI's paw for a very long time. Keep going. Let's go. We have that. And Lee, and I think there's Joni Ernst. I think there's Joni Ernst. Okay. And then Cornyn. And there's Cornyn. Okay, so Kash doing God's work up there on the Hill and winning. And there's Joni Ernst. There you go. This was the start, ladies and gentlemen. This was the start. Here, yeah, this is the destruction of the old guard. Very, very good. Now, somebody that Kash Patel wouldn't have to win over would be Laura Trump if she were in the Senate. Laura Trump decided to step away from her job at the RNC yesterday, which added our ears were tingling, saying, "Wait a tick." Does that mean that she is preparing for a run for Senate? Now, we've reached out. Laura Trump will be joining our program. We're locking in a date, but it'll be soon. And we'll be able to bring you Laura Trump live, and you can, ask her the questions yourself. We'll be happy to do a poll. Which questions should we ask Laura Trump? Laura Trump asked yesterday if she's going to run for Senate, and, she said what she said on our program a couple weeks ago. Yes, go.
So you stepped down as co-chair of the RNC. You did a great job. You had told me privately, and I think you said it publicly as well, that you were in this for one election. This was not going to be a permanent job for you. There has been a ton of speculation that you might be on a short list. I've not spoken to Governor DeSantis about it in terms of replacing Governor Rubio. Have you spoken to him about it? Or, is it anything would you want to be on that list?
Well, I'm honored. Yeah, I've heard the same rumors you have, Sean. Imagine that. And it's an honor to be even mentioned on this list of people who are, incredible patriots and have done incredible service for this country. You're right. I did say when I took this job that this was not something I wanted long term. In fact, I actually like the idea of accomplishing your goals and then leaving, allowing someone new to come in and moving on. That's exactly what I want to do with my life. And we did accomplish all the goals that we set out to do in this election. Obviously, Donald Trump has been reelected as the 47th president. We have a majority in the Senate. We have a majority, albeit small, in the House. We prevented the cheating from happening. We restored election integrity. We got low propensity voters out. We had people voting early this election. And we really have a great blueprint for how to go forward in the future. And I know Michael Whatley, as the chairman, is going to continue there, and he's going to do an incredible job with whoever the co-chair is. But yes, of course, it's an honor to be considered. And I have not talked to Governor DeSantis about it. But if he calls me, if he asks me to do it, I would certainly think long and hard about it. It's a big consideration, but it is something that I truly would be honored to be asked to do ultimately.
You're a better.
Oh, yeah, baby. Okay. Can the timeline get any better? Donald Trump, you're going to get sick of winning. You're going to get sick of winning. You're going to say, no, we can't take it anymore, but you're going to have to take it. We're going to keep winning. We're going to do more. We got more for you. Really quickly here on the confirmation front, and then we're going to jump to Alina Habba. We cannot wait. Ladies and gentlemen, the new Department of Education Secretary, Linda McMahon, asked, will you just atomize the Department of Education? Will you just destroy it? And she says, yes, dear.
Do you believe that you'll be confirmed?
I certainly hope so.
Do you plan on dismantling the Department of Education?
Well, certainly the president is looking forward to raising the level of education across the country by sending education back to the states.
So dismantling the Federal Department of Education then?
I'm not going to get ahead of the president's policy.
Oh, hell yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Into my veins. Into my veins. If you are still watching these nominating processes and you're like Blackfield, I don't know what to do for you. Okay, if the side effects of the new education secretary saying that she's going to eradicate the Department of Education last for more than 4 hours, consult your physician. That is the most exciting clip we can possibly play for you on the program. With the exception of course, Alina Habba's joining us live. Really quickly here, Donald Trump trolling Justin Trudeau. Donald Trump saying the governor of Canada will be our 51st day. It was a pleasure meeting with Governor Justin Trudeau, the great state of Canada. I look forward to seeing Governor again soon. Maybe we continue talks on tariff. This, of course, is a massive international troll of him roasting Justin Trudeau at the dinner table. I don't know if Alina Habba was at Mar-a-Lago that night. I know that we were with Alina Habba at Mar-a-Lago a couple nights ago. And then, lo and behold, what happens 24 hours later? Trump says, Alina's gonna be the counselor to the president. And the great Alina Habba joins the show live now. Did you help write the Justin Trudeau post? Because it just sounds like you. It sounds like you. And I saw it. I'm like, it's Alina!
Making trolling great again from the White House. That's what's going to...
Congratulations.
No, but God, I loved it. So good. Governor Trudeau, how are you doing?
Congratulations, Alina. From our audience, you are beloved in this audience, and you've been... And I have never said this to any other guest, but I'll just say it because it's the truth, and everyone needs to hear it. If Trump, I will avail our bookers on this program to Trump anytime to get information on who was willing to defend Donald Trump on the record and to come on shows like ours. And you were one of like two people. It was you, Mike Davis, Kash Patel. Like that's about it. In the darkest days of lawfare against Trump, we're the only people we could book to come on here and defend him. So many members of Congress ran, so many fake Republicans sprinted, so many cowards ran away. You ran towards the gunfire, and we are so happy for you that you are getting the position that you deserve here in this White House.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm happy for me. I'm happy for America because I'm going to work really hard like I have for the last 3.5 years. And that's what it's about. You know, it's an amazing opportunity. And obviously when this all happens, it's very stressful. You have to make tough decisions, but this was a blessing, and I'm ready to get to work. I'm like, let's go. I want to clean up. Let's go. I know where my passions are and where I'm really best use for the American people. And I cannot wait to stand by President Trump's side and help him navigate the next 4 years.
It's kind of an extension of what you've already been doing, right? And it's what you've been doing for 4 straight years. We have the announcement. We'll pop it up on screen, but you please explain to our audience, counselors to the president, the vectors of responsibility and what you expect to be doing at the White House.
Sure. So counselor to the president is very different than White House counsel or counsel to the president. That is more of a legal role, which I'm actually stepping more into the role that I actually have turned into, which is an advisor, a senior advisor for President Trump, looking at policy, looking at, media. If you look historically at what it's become, it's kind of evolved as somebody who's in the West Wing that it helps the president make tough decisions, is a conduit for other departments to come speak to help filter out what needs to be done and navigate certain things. I know for me, obviously, my history in lawfare and all of that, I'll be tremendously excited to help Pam and her team and to help Kash and his team and to make sure that America is just a little bit more safe from within. That's something I'm very passionate about. And policies that are America first. So it's funny because it's a different role than I started at, but I think my role has changed anyway. I'm not just his lawyer. I've become an advisor, and I am going to stay that way. And I'm really, really happy.
Yes. So can you fill us in a little bit? It's a question that we have for anybody coming into the administration. What can people expect on day one?
Oh, so much work. So President Trump, he's the kind of guy that gets in there and he immediately signs orders. I think there's certain things that we have continuously said are very important. Homeland security, but more importantly, the border security. Tom Homan has been incredibly vocal about it. And of course, the left-wing media will try and twist it like we're breaking families apart. No, we want to have immigration done the right way. That's number one, because that leads to so many things. The fentanyl crisis, very important. For me, for the Attorney General, and I don't want to speak for Pam, but I know that the Department of Justice, we need an overhaul. We need to fix that. Look at January 6th. That's something we've talked about. The people that have been held without due process on the January 6th sham trial, the people that walked in, were escorted in, walked out, didn't hurt anybody, didn't break anything, touch anything. Those people should not be held in solitary confinement for years. That's a political issue. And politics have no place in our government, and especially in our courtrooms. So I think those are things that are top of mind. And then the economy, but that will not be an overnight thing. President Trump has already started working, to be honest. So January 21st will not just be our first day physically in the office. We've been working, and he's been working tirelessly. If you see the meetings he's had, Benny, you've been at Mar-a-Lago, there's some crazy people all of a sudden coming out of the woodworks and saying, we're going to help work with you. Eric Adams, you can listen, Mark Zuckerberg, Trudeau. These people are now saying, hold on, there's going to be tariffs. Hold on, there's going to be accountability. Wait a minute. I'm going to have to deal with this guy now. He's in. I better come in and talk to him. And that's exactly what he's been saying. America needs strong leadership. And he's been leading. And he is effectively leading now. Joe Biden is nowhere to be found. President Trump was just in France. I'm just really proud of the work, frankly, he's already done. And we're going to continue to do. I'm excited to be alongside him.
Did you advise the young man in this photo to do the moose antlers at Trudeau? There's a young man in the background here. I'm not sure how close we can zoom. Okay, there we go.
Wait, I need to see this.
Yeah, the little kid right there. I'm not sure if you can see, but you can see the little kid sticking his tongue out and doing moose antlers.
Oh, that's so funny. That's Bill's family.
At Trudeau,
I know
you
who
can see
that family
clear
is.
as day
that's
right
so
there.
Cute.
Yep.
Some kid. He probably. Well, look.
Clear
He's
as
forever
day.
in history.
This is the viral photo, and everyone's like, enhance. Wow, welcome to Mar-a-Lago, Justin.
By the way, that's so typical. It's such a fun place. It's something special, and it's become it's become the White House effectively for President-elect and President Trump's team, and we're having meetings. And now transition, we moved so quickly through transition. I mean, he put people in right away. And that was important because now they're all working so that we can literally hit the ground running day one. That kid's so cute. I mean, I love that. But you have to remember, it's a private club, but there are guests and there are people there watching. It's amazing. I mean, you sit right next to him having a meeting with Trudeau or him having a meeting with whomever, Elon, and that's the environment. It's been a really special ride, I would say, for the last 3.5 years, but the last month has been spectacular.
I want to take just a moment and step back into this role of counselor to the president, because you are going to be fielding questions. You are going to be you against the entire press corps out on the White House lawn. You're going to be defending people like Elon and Vivek, and Kash Patel and Pam Bondi. And I know you know them all very close. You're allies with all of them. But it's going to be sort of your role to defend their actions, and there's going to be some screaming. There's going to be some demon screams from inside of Washington, D.C., and especially the corporate press. Now, of course, you're no stranger to this. We have no shortage of B-roll of you standing in front of a phalanx of corporate media that want to eat you alive. But this is going to be on another level, Alina. It's going to be very exciting. You're going to be the first line of defense for Doge, for Kash, for Pam Bondi. It's going to be exciting. You ready for that?
So.
Are you ready for that?
I hope so. You know what? I told them. I actually told Kash and I told Pam, lean on me. I am not afraid. I am a fighter. I don't think they need me by any means, but I can tell you they all can speak incredibly well for themselves. But these are my friends, and these are people that I know incredibly well. And to me, I feel like I'm just continuing to work with my family. And now we can really make the changes we need to do. And I will always be happy to defend their actions whenever anybody challenges them, because I know who these people are. I know what they want to do. There is no retribution. That's not the people that we are. These are good Americans that are going to fight really hard on their departments and have a huge department to take care of. And if I, as counselor to the president, am able to assist the global administration in any sort of way, that will be my goal. I'm there to help President Trump as his counselor, but I'm there to help all of the departments in any way I can. And I'm really, really invigorated and excited to do so. And I can't wait for that first White House lawn conference.
I'm not sure if you can see the B-roll here, but this is why people love Alina Habba. Look at this. I mean, it really is like it's like an episode of Law and Order. It's like incredible. It's like the one woman against the entire machine. And we've watched over the past years you do this and be the only person standing in this middle of the street, in the middle of downtown Manhattan. And so maybe it will come totally naturally to you. What is a key issue that you're excited to fight for in D.C.? How about you? Like is there a pet project or something you're excited to take on?
Yeah. For me, like I said, I really can't wait to help the DOJ and to help Kash and the FBI, and to make sure a couple things that really bother me as an American. I don't think we should be spying on people, moms. I don't think we should be spying on people that have no, lawfare effectively, period, the end. I have been a spokesperson for lawfare and witch hunts, and I will not disregard what has happened over the last 3.5 years, because it made me disenchanted with the practice of law, and it made me disenchanted with the judicial system, and that shouldn't be. And I think that I want Americans to feel that the DOJ, the FBI, that all of these administrations are fighting for them, not against them. So as much as justice reform and all of those things, much like Jared focused on, I would love to be able to help in that regard. And I think that's where I will probably be most valuable. There's just, the list goes on and on. Fentanyl crisis. I think there's not a person that hasn't been touched by somebody who has suffered with drug addiction and abuse addiction. And that's near to my heart as well. So I think that there's certain things that you love and you're really passionate about. Mine have been pretty obvious to the American people and the president over the last few years. And I hope that I can assist them in any way I can.
I know we're up against a hard out, so I just want to give you an opportunity to step into your role right now and say, what's your message to the people who engaged in what is plainly illegal lawfare, from Merrick Garland to Jack Smith to Fani Willis, who still has her charges ongoing against President Trump? What's your message to them, Alina?
My message to those individuals or America, because it's two very different messages.
Yeah, to those individuals, because there's quite a few resignations happening. People saying that Christopher Wray may resign, Yeah.
He better. My message to America is the president has selected the best attorney general, the best FBI director, the best people, Tom Homan, all these people, Pete Hegseth, they're all amazing. And they're all on the same mission, which is that we do not accept America turning into a third world country. And that's what they've done to us. So my message to them is your behavior is not unnoticed. I have lived it for 3.5 years with President Trump. I will make sure that every administration is doing what they need to do to make sure that Americans are feeling safe and trusting our administration. They should never be afraid of our administration. There have been days that I've been afraid. That's not acceptable to me. We are supposed to protect our own. So that number one is that message. You did not protect us. What Alvin Bragg did to Penny, what he has done with his political motivation in New York, Letitia James, those people, they're doing a disservice to the American people. And we need to have some sort of reform that will make sure that people are not politically motivated through donor dollars, that there's not political motivation to attack or go after somebody through lawfare. And I say that for all Americans. And people are afraid to register to vote as a Republican because they're afraid that so-and-so will come after them. Should never happen. So for me, that's top of mind. And the message is, nobody knows it better than me. I've lived it. So I'm excited to get in there and find out what happened and clean it up. It should not happen ever again. And also, I feel like now I get to be America's lawyer. I've been fighting for him, and now I get to go into the White House and fight for them. And I'm excited to use my voice to do so.
That's beautiful. I get to be America's lawyer. We're going to make a chyron, actually, that just says that. And we'll make like a special Alina Habba stinger, actually, for America's lawyer. I can already see it. Okay, we already see it. It's probably already in design. So, Daniel Penny, you did just name drop Daniel Penny. You're a proud New Yorker. And this must have been horrifying for you to see, along with the lawfare against your boss. Daniel Penny acquitted. Eli Crane was just on the program saying that he should get the Congressional Medal of Honor. You think he should get the Presidential Medal of Freedom?
I think my focus, I say that, look, that's up to the president to decide. I think that what he did was protect Americans that day, and that shouldn't go unnoticed. I think the bigger problem, as I've said, is why did this happen to a 20-something-year-old kid that didn't deserve to have to endure this, the money that he must have had to spend. It's expensive to go through this, to have a state DA after you. It's petrifying. And it's not acceptable. And as I said, the medals are all well and good and lovely, and if that's what the president has just
Alina, I apologize. We got a call. I apologize. We got a call, Alina. I apologize. Just a second. There we go. We're back. Sorry, we just lost your audio for just a moment there. You're good now.
Okay. I think that the medals and all that is well and good, and that's lovely, but you can't fix the fact that this poor kid's been sitting in a cell waiting to be vindicated, and the money, the taxpayer dollars that America again spent with DA Bragg's again politically motivated. This whole thing, when I say political motivation, it doesn't mean because he's a politician. It means because Bragg is concerned about Bragg getting press, and press is not what his job is. His job is safety, enforcement, protection against real criminals. He has ignored real criminals and instead given them bail reform. Meanwhile, this kid who helped people with somebody who had been arrested over 40 times had to go sit in prison. That's unacceptable to me. So the medals are lovely. It's fluff to me. I am so focused on the underlying issue and passionate about it that this just stops happening, because we're seeing it happen by the same cast of characters, and they have to be accountable for what they've done. It's not acceptable. This kid can't get that time back, and no Medal of Honor, as beautiful as it would be for him to have it, will fix what has happened. It's a deterioration of our faith in the justice system. We can't have it. So, all I hear is all these things, but they're not going to fix what this kid went through. They're just not. You know what fixes it? Making sure it never happens again. It can't happen again. And we have to make sure that this never happens again.
This is my final question to you is here is a photo of us at Mar-a-Lago with Kash Patel a couple days ago. It was great, and here's us with your incredible purse, with your incredible clutch as ever. It's a big update from the necklace. Amazing.
I wanted to make sure you could read it this time.
Yeah, 12 hours later, you get named counselor to the president. So I think there's a connection here, actually, and I hope you bring that to the White House lawn. My question is this: it's about public lying. This has happened a lot with the current administration, but it really was, I think it bridged too far with Democrats with the pardon of Hunter Biden. The public lying, the saying on the record time and time again that it was never going to happen. And that happened from the White House, where you're going to be working. That happened from the most prestigious podiums taxpayer-funded podiums, the most powerful podiums in the world. And they just sat there and lied, right? And just lied. And they didn't even ask forgiveness when they were proven to be liars. They didn't even they had no remorse. It was despicable. No. Yeah, how are you going to reclaim that mantle, right? How are you going to sanitize, that place?
Yeah. That's a great question. I think that I've always been transparent with the American people. When I came out of courtrooms and told them what they couldn't see was happening inside the courtroom, I did that on purpose because I want people to be held accountable for how you treat people. And I want you to know what's actually happening on the inside. I think that, our press secretary will be answering those tough questions every day. And then for anything else, I'm there. I mean, I'm there and I'm always not afraid to answer a question when it's asked of me. And I think that we're going to be an amazing team of transparency. If you look at what's happening with Doge, Elon and Vivek are doing amazing work already, being very transparent about what they're looking at, having a new platform for you to come, see, ask questions. I think my method's been always the same, Benny. I don't say no to shows, as you know. I don't shy away from questions. I never will. And as counselor to the president, I continue to do so. I will be there to answer those questions when people want to understand or feel that they're not fully aware of something. I'm happy to clarify that. I always will. And I make that assurance to the American people. I'm there, but I still have a very loud voice. I will continue to use it.
Yes. Well, we're very much looking forward to that exorcism of the White House and to getting actual honesty from it. Please look into who brought the cocaine, by the way. And,
I know. Let's see that. I want to
look into that. Just if you don't mind, just when you have free time, please just ask a couple people. Maybe ask some of the people working there. Like, who was it exactly? And you're always welcome on our show, Alina. Everyone follow. You can tell us.
That won't get me fired at all, I'm sure.
I think we have a suspicion we know who it is. So everyone follow Alina Habba. 500,000 by Christmas. Done. 1 million next year. Alina Habba, one of the best there is. Godspeed. We're so proud of you.
Thank you for your support. I couldn't do it without you.
So proud of you. So much fun. What an enjoyable time this is. And I know it's a honeymoon stage, right, with the administration, and we haven't gotten into the real work yet. The real fight happens next year, and it's going to be awesome. But this is such a special moment because we feel like we actually get a very small note to play in the salvation of Western civilization, and the confluence of miracles that led to this moment. And the program that has been built here, and by the way, we have confirmation from our incredible booker, Kara, who says that Laura Trump will be on the show next Tuesday. Tom Homan on the show next week as well. Next Tuesday. Tom Homan on Monday. Laura Trump confirmed for Tuesday. So we'll ask ourselves, ladies and gentlemen. But this just goes to the underlying point here, which is the show it feels like we're part of something really special. It's very electric. We want this to be your number one way station, grand central station for what's happening in your government and your administration. We've been in the dark for so long. We've been lied to for so long. And it's time to restore. It's time to return to a government that we can trust. And so we're going to do our very best, since so many of the honorable people that Donald Trump has nominated for these positions have come on our program and appear on our program, like the next counselor to the president. We're going to do our very best to show you exactly what's going on so you can be informed. We're not going to stop. It's going to be a wild 4 years. It's going to be a lot of work, and it's going to be really, really fun. So stay tuned. We have some big announcements on that in the coming days. Speaking of people who are part of saving this nation, the salvation of this nation, ladies and gentlemen, the great Scott Pressler, who is in fact a regular on this program and one of our close allies. Scott Pressler reveals plans to turn New Jersey red after helping Trump win Pennsylvania. Come on, baby. That's great. Scott, you're doing such great work. Your face is turning red. Look at this. Scott's turning so many states. You turned Pennsylvania red, you turned New Jersey red. Now Scott's turning Scott red. Scott! You got to use Donald Trump's tanning booth, buddy. You got to do it. Okay? Here we go. Conservative influencer who helped President-elect Trump claim victory in Pennsylvania is now focusing on New Jersey, a state that he suggests could flip red in the upcoming elections. Vice President Kamala Harris secured victory in New Jersey with just 52% of the vote. That's just a matter of a couple 100,000 votes. Some analysts suggest that New Jersey has transitioned from blue state to a swing state. Scott Pressler, the founder of Early Vote Action, Political Action Committee, appeared to agree with the sentiment in a Fox News digital interview. We're going to use a Pennsylvania model to register, not just reinvent the wheel, but we're going to take all those things that we learned and apply them in New Jersey, and we're going to play it smart. Pressler has said his work in Pennsylvania for the 2024 election, an attempt to build up infrastructure for Republicans that was lacking in the past couple cycles. I think it's not possible to acknowledge the victory for Donald Trump in Pennsylvania without saying Scott Pressler was part of the only path forward for Trump to win that state. Of course, there's a lot of things that happened in Pennsylvania, like a miracle of Donald Trump surviving an assassin's bullet happened in Pennsylvania. Donald Trump went to Steelers games. He served McDonald's fries in Pennsylvania. But Scott Pressler, registering voters, and we saw him do this in real life, like Scott Pressler doing this in real life in Pennsylvania. That's how you win. The actual hard work. That's how you win. So yeah, would Donald Trump have won the presidency? It was Pennsylvania that pushed Trump over the line on election night. That's when we popped the champagne. It's still sticky. We still got it. The floor's still sticky. We're never popping cheap champagne ever again. Yeah. So we're really excited about that. Scott's man who, when Scott says he's going to do it, he's going to do it, baby. Ladies and gentlemen, what would Scott be carrying with him in New Jersey as he heads into more states? I hope that Scott Pressler gets a chance to do this across the United States of America. Patriot Mobile is the phone that we take when we are on the road. Patriot Mobile keeps us connected and locked in. All three major networks, wherever we go. We will be traveling soon to America Fest. We're going to be traveling to UFC. Well, it's down the road, but to UFC this weekend. Oh, yeah. We're always moving on this show. Go to patriotmobile.com/Benny. Call 972-PATRIOT right now. Get a free month when you use the offer code Benny. patriotmobile.com/Benny for the only Christian conservative wireless provider in the country. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, very interesting. Speaking of getting caught with their phone and with IDs and with a ghost gun and with a suppressor, Luigi Mangione, suspected in United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson's killing, is charged with murder in New York. What a strange story. What a weird story. So, this dude who has a very long and very accessible internet history, who's an anti-capitalist, who shared kind of the Kaczynski Manifesto, right, about modern societies, who's I think he's an atomizist, right? Like he's somebody who wants the systems to fail. Somebody who had if you're looking for a motive, I guess, like for why he would commit the most brazen assassination in modern American history, apparently he had a really bad back injury, and that sent the kid spiraling. He was a valedictorian of his class. Can we please put up some of the images of him, and some of the I think we have his mugshot here. He's a valedictorian of his class, high IQ kid. And if you're looking for a motive, he got injured. He had a back injury, and then he snapped. According to some of the people that knew him, the injury led to real mental problems. That's what we're hearing, at least. But there are conflicting reports about this. Some people saying this isn't even the right person. So I guess we'll have to find out. He had fake IDs though on him. He had fake IDs. He doesn't have any criminal record. It's totally strange. The whole thing is totally weird. I'm weirded out by it. Hopefully the authorities can come through with more evidence that really like says, no, this is definitely the individual. But it's very suspicious. Did he want to be caught? So he's caught in a Pennsylvania McDonald's? Really? Really? Like he's like eating his McDonald's breakfast? Also, is this like if you were a worker at McDonald's, would you recognize this person? How do I have these photos? Why are you going to McDonald's? You escaped New York, and that's one of the most surveilled cities on earth, and nobody knew where you were? You're nabbed eating a hash brown? Doesn't make any sense. I mean, he did have on him what seems to be the murder weapon, a suppressor, and a bunch of like some fake IDs and passports. Maybe he was headed to Mexico. That's where I assumed he would be. But things are weird on this one, man. Things are weird on this one. So apparently he's denying that he had foreign cash on him. I don't listen. I don't. Too many connections to this stuff. United Healthcare CEO, who I want to be very, very firm on the show's stance on this. Violence is never the answer. And we disagree with people, and we think some people are really wrecking the country. We never wish anything other than health and life to our fellow Americans. That is the difference. You can see these monsters on the internet saying, cheering this guy on. These sick puppies. Taylor Lorenz is one of them. Smiling and happy and giddy about this. No, these people are, you can see how morally decayed society is because the left actually cheers on political violence. They call us fascists. And they're the one, it's always them who cheer on the actual fascistic behavior of people taking out vengeance, violence, and killings on their political enemies. This is fascism by definition. The jackboot of your political opinion stomping on a face forever and ever and ever. It's a sick world we live in. And so don't ever follow anybody who cheers on these types of tactics. That being said, we don't know if this is the guy. We don't know. Okay? We don't. So you're going to have to prove it in court. He says that people planted money on him, planted foreign cash on him. The whole thing, very strange. All right? I'm just going to say, there are a lot of things that don't add up right now. Anyway, so this guy named Luigi Mangione is his name. He said that evidence is already being planted in order to try and connect him maybe to foreign sources. Let's look.
Sure thing, Aaron. Well, yeah, I'll say just about an hour ago, I was there inside that courthouse watching as Luigi Mangione walked right past myself and a number of other reporters. He was wearing a blue shirt, blue jeans. He was, of course, handcuffed, and he looked, even in this court appearance, visibly distressed, but he kept his brow furrowed through the duration of this arraignment hearing. And I should say what was interesting, though, Aaron, is you said we haven't heard a statement from the suspect. He did actually speak inside of that courtroom to the judge and to all the folks who were in there, but it was on very selective issues, and I'll just kind of go through what we heard. The judge asked Luigi Mangione a number of questions, first about his identity. So Mr. Mangione confirmed that that is his real name. He initially said that his residence was in Maryland, but then the judge actually pressed him on that, and then he said, actually, I have lived at various addresses before then ultimately giving an address in Honolulu, Hawaii. Then he also said that he's worked for 3 years as a data engineer up until about a year ago, and he also told the judge that he has no drug or mental health problems that the court needs to know about. But Aaron, one of the most interesting parts of that particular hearing was actually his statements after the conversation about bail. The prosecutors basically stepped up there and made the case why they believe that this man should be held without bail. They mentioned that he is awaiting potentially an arrest warrant coming from New York City as one of the major reasons. But they also said that prosecutors noted that they found him with $8,000 in U.S. cash, $2,000 in foreign currency, his passport, and also a Faraday bag, which is basically a bag designed to stop transmission of cell service or other sort of things like that. At the end of his speech, the prosecutor's speech, Luigi Mangione said, I actually want to address two of the things that you said. He said, I don't know where that money came from. I'm not sure if it was planted. And then he also said that that bag was waterproof. And the term that the prosecutors used when discussing the Faraday bag, the ghost guns, the 3D printed silencer, was the prosecutors used a phrase saying this is criminal sophistication.
What? All the red flags are up. All the sirens are blaring, and I'm saying, okay, prove it. That's all I'm saying. The amazing Ashley, who's from Philadelphia, who's on our team, says that the eyebrows don't match. She's very interested in the photographs of the assassin and saying that they have the wrong person, and that there's different eyebrows, and that she's convinced that it's not the same individual. This program will forever and always be asking questions, and will simply say, with a very firm voice, that we don't believe the experts at all. And they've lost all credibility, and so we'll believe data, and it is your job, it is in fact your responsibility as a government entity to present the data, make sure that it is empirical and demonstrable, and then we'll believe it. But we'll assess for ourselves. We're not going to blindly believe. This is what Ashley sent. This is Ashley. I'm just saying, okay, we have a great social media team here. She's saying that it's not the same person because the eyebrows don't match. So that's Luigi Mangione there with sort of a connecting unibrow, I suppose. And then it's saying that the actual assassin, the proposed assassin, the unibrow ain't there. So, I mean, even for an Italian growing a unibrow that fast would be very difficult. Very difficult. I personally know Italians. I have Italian friends. All right. So, there you go. Luigi over here. We'll see. You'd have to eat a lot of mushrooms in order to get. You have to eat a lot of those mushrooms in order to grow that fast. So we have some very interesting times on our hands. I'll just say this because it's worth saying. Because I don't trust our federal institutions. This smacks of something dirty going on, and I'm going to really need to listen to this guy in court. What we have verified dirty going on was that United Healthcare was fraudulent, and that these guys were selling stock and doing insider trades. This guy is the guy who was murdered, and it's a tragedy that he was murdered. It's a horrible thing that he was murdered. That is never the correct response to anything. But anyway, that guy is like in depositions talking about his connections to Nancy Pelosi. He was under investigation by the DOJ. He was about to testify in these cases, and who knows what the guy, who knows? United Healthcare is the biggest healthcare company in America. A lot of money to be made, and the healthcare industry has been totally co-opted by the federal government to become like a criminal enterprise and organ for the federal government. What did the guy know? You have to ask in any single murder, in any crime, cui bono is Latin for who benefits. So, that's my question. When you see a sophisticated assassination, which this was, you have to ask who's benefiting, right? That's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to continue to do, ladies and gentlemen. So that's what you can trust from the program. You can also trust that we are going to keep our focus on what truly matters in this life. And it is a dangerous world. It was kind of shocking when we first learned about this. I said, well, how many presidents have actually been shot? And it's like 8 presidents have been shot. 8? Dude, there's only been 47 presidents. 8 of them have been shot. 4 of them have died in office. So becoming president is possibly the most dangerous job on earth. It's far more dangerous than serving on the front lines in Ukraine. It's bad. So anyway, prayers up for President Trump. It's a dangerous world out there. So keep your heart set and keep your eye and focus and your faith on what truly matters and what is immovable in life. And that is our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Our verse of the day, John 13:34. So now I am giving you a new commandment. Love one another, just as I have loved you. You should love one another. Violence is never the answer. There are ways to solve our differences, and now I come on, this election cycle has proven it, hasn't it? This election has proven it. From everything from destroying Bud Light to this landslide victory that we all were part of. It's proven that there are the ways that you save this place is faith in God, the confluence of miracles, and then action. So that's what we take on this program. Ladies and gentlemen, action. I've heard from Ryan that there's still potentially time to ship out your Benny Red Christmas ornament. We showed you the ornament at the White House yesterday. Everyone, my inbox is filled with people saying that they've received their ornaments, and we've shipped out 50,000 of them now. Most popular Christmas ornament in American history. $5. Go get yours today. Create jobs with 100% American made. 100%, all the way from the actual raw materials we used to make them, made in America. They said we couldn't do it, and we did it. The greatest, most popular Christmas ornament ever. Get your hands on one. There's still time. You can go order it at BennyJohnson.com. Shop at BennyJohnson.com. Ladies and gentlemen, God bless you. We march forward together. It's going to be a absolutely spectacular Christmas season. We have some exciting things that we're still planning on doing. We're always cooking over here, and it's because of you. And so we march forward with the strength and the presence that this audience gives us, and we're thankful deeply for you, chat. Okay? It's your boy Benny. See ya.
What exactly does Canada want?
We want more money. Yeah, more money. As you can see from this graph, the entire economy of Canada relies on American money. Without them, we are doomed to recession.
What say you, Mr. American? Canada.
You.
They're not even a real country anyway.
Truth gon' be faith and freedom on your TV screen. Stand up strong, battle through the night. The Benny Show's here, bringing liberty to life. From the speeches to debates, Benny sharp like a blade, cutting through the lies, watch the truth cascade. With the warrior's heart, this man never fades. You know it's prime time when Benny invades. From saving the nation to stories untold, the Benny Show's a storm, see the truth unfold. Stay in the loop, let freedom take hold. Salt in all the libs, soul never sold. It's the Benny Show, where the truth gon' be. Faith and freedom on your TV screen. Stand up strong, battle through the night. The Benny Show's here, bringing liberty to life. Liberty to light, bringing liberty to light. Liberty to light, bringing liberty to life. From the speeches to debates, Benny sharp like a blade, cutting through the lies, watch the truth cascade. With the warrior's heart, this man never fades. You know it's prime time when Benny invades. From saving the nation to stories untold, the Benny Show's a storm, see the truth unfold. Stay in the loop, let freedom take hold. Salt in all the libs, soul never sold. It's the Benny Show, where the truth gon' be. Faith and freedom on your TV screen. Stand up strong, battle through the night. The Benny Show's here, bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light.